Hi, today I am with Joshua Kennedy, who is from the Netherlands but moved to France, the French Riviera, in 2018 with his wife. Started life and network from scratch there, which apparently was quite challenging. And indeed, struggling with that, the existing channels there, they created Next Locals to bring communities together and make moving abroad more accessible. So we'll dive into that piece around building your network and making the right friends. First, Joshua, welcome, and I'll let you introduce yourself before we
Thank
move to your big move.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me, Pauline. Pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise. So tell us a bit about you, yourself, and how that big move to the French Riviera came up.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Netherlands, as you said, and to be honest and completely frank, I did like it in many ways, but I was always thinking about moving abroad. So just dreaming, when you see a movie, you see the different type of lifestyle that we were living back then, and for us, the main reason was essentially a better quality of life, and I didn't
Okay.
like how everything was sort of. I don't know. You get used to certain things, and then you see something different, and that looks very interesting. But especially the lifestyle that people seem to have, when there was a bit more sunshine involved, that was really appealing to me. And
Okay.
yeah, that was the main motivator back
The
then.
main motivator. Okay, lifestyle. And so, what exactly you talk about? All right, the sunshine, but was there anything else in the current lifestyle that you felt, okay, this is enough, I'm frustrated with this, or this looks appealing?
I think it was many things, but the lifestyle itself was again the main motivator back then. Definitely changed when we actually made the change and made the move,
Hmm.
because then suddenly your horizon widens and your entire life changes and your view on the world as well. But back
Okay.
then it was more superficial and but it's just, I mean, you pay taxes anyway, so
Yeah.
you do have the choice where you do that. You can't choose where you grow up,
Hmm.
but you do have a choice always in life. At
Yeah.
least something I believe. You can always choose how you respond to things and what you do and the decisions that you take, and that will always have consequences, of course, but that will lead to something. So for us, it was important that, I mean, the sunshine does a lot. I mean, I
Yeah.
absolutely love the
I
sun.
agree. For sure. And so, how was this specific destination chosen? Like, why France? Why, like, the south of France? I sort of guessed for the sunshine, but why specifically France and not maybe Spain or Italy or whatever?
Yeah, I've been thinking about many countries, and initially I thought about moving to the US,
Okay.
because I have well, I've been in business for almost 15 years right now, and I'm only in my 30s, so I've been doing that since I was able to work essentially
Yeah.
legally. And the US seemed like a sort of more obvious choice, as it's very much career focused, and I was very ambitious. I'm still very ambitious, so that sort of felt natural. But the move was also very big, as in you need visas, you need to sort out a lot of things, and um, so that's. I also thought about Spain, Italy, all those Mediterranean countries, which all seem very lovely. Spain specifically, I love that actually,
Mm.
because the food is incredible and the people seem to be very friendly, and it's always yes, and they try to please in a way, but
Yeah.
it's very good. But my girlfriend back then, she's now my wife, but she wasn't very keen on taking that step, and it's quite an emotional story for her actually. But the her father passed away when she was very young, so she had a very deep connection with her mom, and she's very close to her. So that was the main reason for her not wanting to move anywhere without her mom, essentially. So if
Okay.
she's not close to her mom, then it's a no go.
Yeah, it's harder.
Fortunately for me, her mom met someone else after years after her husband passed away, and he has been living in the south of France for over 30 years.
All right.
And he said, there is one non-negotiable, and that is that I am going to be moving to the Netherlands. So I will stay in France. You are very happy to join me and welcome to move in with me.
Mm.
But I'm not going to the Netherlands. So that is when her mom decided, all right, I am going to move in with him. Uh,
To the south of
yeah,
France, then.
to sort of work stuff out. So it was a perfect situation for me. And I said, well, I understand that you want to follow her, want to stay close with her, and I absolutely love moving abroad. So yeah, let's do it. Let's follow you.
Okay.
And
All right. So it was mum's choice in the end.
in the end, yeah. But I'm very happy with that.
Yeah. Okay, it's worked out well. Well, tell us about the arrival, settling in, and all the culture shocks, I guess, that go with such a move.
Yeah. Well, for us, it was even though we did have that connection with her mom and father-in-law, it was quite getting used to the country, of course. As in, I didn't speak any French at all, so it was quite a culture shock in terms of the language, but also in how they do things. I mean,
Mm,
you mentioned that you live in Paris, and from what I know, and having been to Paris a few times and having worked with some people from Paris, the work mentality is completely different in other parts of France than the south of
absolutely.
France.
Yeah.
So the south of
Yeah,
France is
yeah.
really laid
So,
back, and yeah, there is basically no speed in the process at all. So everything is very relaxed and a bit too much every now and then.
yeah, it can be a bit of a shocker. But I guess in many countries it can be a bit of that difference of the big city versus the smaller cities. And the more you get towards the beach and a sunny place, I feel the more you have sort of that siesta vibe in a way. But it takes a bit of getting used to an organization in your day to day also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I mean, ultimately we love it because it is very forgiving in a way. So
Mm,
you cannot expect that from other people, but on the other hand, they don't expect it from you as well. Let's take the tax office as an example. In the Netherlands, in the UK, all places that we've been, it is very strict and it's very, it needs to be done by this date and all that. And here in France, you have that as well. So of course, it needs to be submitted by a certain date. But then very often, the online software doesn't work, so it and then
classic.
it's postponed for a few days and all that. And when the tax office asked some questions about certain things, I just bounced the ball back and I said, well, uh, I think I have done everything, so you tell me what I did wrong and then correct it for me. And they actually do it. So you just have to get used to. You need to find your way in yeah, basically working that out and making that work for yourself.
Yeah, I guess there's a bit of this piece of if you show you're of good face, there will be a little bit more leeway and they might be a bit more helpful around that.
No, absolutely. I mean, that is especially true for these type of processes, indeed. But also when it comes to language, I mean that is
Yeah.
something I very often hear from people. You know, that the French people don't speak English. So, well, that's not really true. I mean, uh, try to look at it from the other way around, right? If you are in the Netherlands, and we, I've mentioned this example a few times, so I'm not going to do it again. But if someone comes to you, because we have lots of people from abroad in the Netherlands too, if someone walks up to you on the street and they start speaking Moroccan to you,
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
and you are in the Netherlands or whatever language, they, I mean, what is your first response, right? So you think, well, forget about it. You know, I just stick to my own language. And again, as you say, if you show your good faith, show your good face, then people respond completely different. So if you start in French and try to
Yeah, make your way around it
make
a
your
little
way
bit of
around
effort.
from a basic dialogue, then people suddenly open up and they start speaking English and they start helping you and they're super friendly.
Yeah. What about I mean, let's dive into it. Building your network because the south of France. So, as you said, it's smaller towns. The vibe is very different to Paris. It's not as international. So, I can imagine it's extremely different when you arrive as a foreigner and trying to meet new people versus big cities that automatically are a little bit more international.
Yeah, I think the French Riviera is a very unique mix of backgrounds and personalities and all that. It is very international, but in a different way. So if you would compare it to Paris, for example, I think that is a great example because it's much more career driven, lots of
Hmm.
opportunities, lots of bigger companies and all that are based in Paris. But here in the south of France, you originally don't really have anything that naturally comes from here. So there is
Yeah.
no big industry, for example. So it heavily relies on tourism. It's very much seasonal work. So you have lots of people coming in from May basically until I'd say end of September, beginning of October. And then the region completely transforms and it absolutely changes here. So you have a lot of people moving back and they live, as we say in Dutch, with one leg in the other countries. They still
Okay.
their roots alive in a different country, so they're very often traveling and hopping between countries and
Right.
sort of trying to see how this region feels and what it does to them. So that also means that some people find it, and we personally found it very difficult to build those longer type of
Hmm.
relationships.
Connections here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you are not in, if you're not moving here with the intention, okay, I'm going to build my life here, I'm going to build this my new home, then you're sort of always comparing it to something else, right? So you're not
Yeah.
fully invested in the outcome of making it work here. So you always sort of take the easy way out, as in, all right, it's easier in the US for me, or it's easier
Hmm.
in Italy for me, or Germany, or wherever you're from. So then you, so at least that is my opinion. Then you're not willing to put in the effort to
To
make
make the
it.
effort.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that makes very often the relationships a bit shallow or distant. Yeah,
Yeah, and you don't see people as much. Also, I think for the other person, if you're here to stay, you don't necessarily want to invest that much time in someone that's going to be here 6 months of the year and maybe
absolutely.
not even come back the following year, the following year. It's also your time, your energy, in the same way.
Absolutely true. Yeah. No, that's
So,
right.
how did you actually start meeting people?
Yeah, for us, it is a sort of sales pitch, but it is simply the truth. So we were here about a year. So we arrived in 2018, December it was. And then we did all the tourism things, like we did the sightseeing. We went to the beautiful restaurants, the sea, the mountains, all the things in between. But then, even though you are together, as in me and my wife and her mom and my father-in-law, you feel very quickly isolated. So I don't want to say lonely. You do hear that every now and then, but I don't think lonely is the right term and description for that. It's more isolation because you do have friends, but they're not here. You want to make this work, so you want to do things, but you feel sort of entrapped, closed, and isolated. I think is the right word. And then obviously COVID came not long after that, so that wasn't helpful either. So in 2019, we decided to start organizing some events ourselves. Uh,
Okay.
we noticed that there were lots of communities out there, literally hundreds of them, but it wasn't quite what we wanted. And also being ambitious myself, I wanted to use it as an opportunity to find some clients to set up my business here. So we started organizing very relaxed meetups, what we call them. It was at first called a business club because I thought it was going to be mainly about business networking. But then by organizing a few of the meetups, I realized that it was all about just meeting with like minded people and just bringing people together.
Okay.
And so that's the thing that we've been doing. We created the atmosphere that we personally feel most comfortable with. So, for example, I love dinner. I love eating. Don't
Hmm.
get me wrong, but to me, at a first encounter over dinner can feel a little bit awkward, in my opinion, because
It's very
yeah,
set and rigid. Yeah.
yeah, and then I'm start thinking about how I eat, and then it's really
That's
weird.
a lot of pressure on everyone.
A lot of pressure on everything. So I like to have an easy way out. So that's why we prefer to meet over drinks, and we've just been doing that, and that is the way that we basically met anyone that is in our lives right now, and we have a very
Okay.
rich and active life here, as in business wise, but also social.
So, how did you first start promoting these events when it was even before the business? And you say, okay, let's just launch a meetup.
Yeah, I thought you do have a few platforms where you can list events, such as Eventbrite, which was a
Hmm.
platform that we
Yeah.
used. I looked on Meetup, and we also created a Facebook group
Okay.
because lots of people here in the south of France use Facebook. So then I just created it, registered the domain name, put up a very simple landing page.
Hmm.
This is it. It's free to attend. You just have to register here and then come, and then we'll see. And I think the first one we had about five people attending. Second one about 5 to 10 as well. Then another time 10, and then the fourth meetup was in Cannes, and that was the first one that completely sold out. So we had about
Wow.
75 registrations, and more than 50 people showed up. So it was a relatively small bar, and it was completely packed.
Cool.
And yeah, completely full with people that were coming for the meetup. And that is the
Okay.
moment that we knew, all right, we're onto something, and
Yeah.
we really need to continue building this.
All right. So you don't do them only in that in Vence in the town you're in, but you also go all around the region.
Yeah, for us, we decided to alternate between Monaco, Nice, Cannes, and Antibes, and then
Okay.
every now and then in the smaller villages. Now we're expanding um, all over the world, actually, and we are building the platform. So instead of going to meetup.com or to Eventbrite, because um, for in-person community organizers, you need very specific tools, and you need software to manage the community, to bring them together, to have easy communication and all that. We've built a community over 20,000 people, so we know how it works. We have literally organized more than 300 events in the past few years. So we know the challenges that we have, and that you have, and we know what you need. And it doesn't exist. There are partial solutions, but it's not complete and it's not working well enough. So that's why we decided to start building the platform. It's going to take a few more months, lots of investments, but uh,
It's an exciting time, at
yeah, I
least.
want to build what I wish existed.
All right. And so, what is the vibe of the event? So you're saying you don't go for dinners, but more for drinks. I mean, I feel like on Meetup and Eventbrite or whatever, you do find these type of events. So what is different, and how in the end were you able to attract the people that are more like minded to
Yeah, I
you and
think
your
it's
taste?
for us, our niche was English speakers on the French Riviera. That is how we
Okay,
started
started. Yeah.
and niched it down. So that helped. And yeah, I'm not saying that we're unique in that it doesn't exist, but it was sort of unique back then. And you also want to be part of a group that is very consistent with organizing
Mm,
meetups and all that. So not someone
yeah.
who does it every now and then, because the
Yeah.
most difficult thing about running these type of events is getting them full every time.
Mm.
So it's not so difficult to come up with an idea and say, all right, well, we're going to organize this. But you need to open venues, you need to,
Consistency after. Yeah.
yeah, you need the consistency, you need to reach the right people, you need to continue doing that over time. So yeah, I think, and it was also an arrogance probably, and an ego matter that I wanted for my personal gain, as in, it is different if you are attending an event
Mm.
or if you are the one organizing the
Of
event.
course. Yeah.
obviously for me it's more appealing to say that I'm the organizer of the event. So I think that that was also a thing for me. And to be honest, that is also a way where I can you can mask some of the insecurities that you have because you play a role
Yeah.
with that.
Well, you're the host. You know exactly what you have to do, and you're less maybe in the, oh, I'm here. I mean, you're still there to meet people, but there's a real point versus an attendee who's going, has to sort of work on his pitch a bit more in a way to actually interact with the people he doesn't know versus you come in as the host, so you have the pitch already.
True. Yeah, it is true. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And so you were saying these people you've have become your friends in the end, and that's how you built your network. Completely curious of my from my side, but so do you only see them through those events, or are you able also to separate, you know, in the end, the friendships and the business side of it, or is it completely intertwined?
No, no, no. I actually always recommend to anyone coming to the meetups, and it's sometimes a bit difficult with the community. That's also why we are becoming the platform instead of the organizer ourselves, because the value sometimes is a little bit difficult to explain. Because I also push people to organize things outside of the meetup. So I really see the
Yeah.
meetup as a starting point
Okay. Yeah.
where you have an intentional place where you meet people that want to connect. They're all living abroad. They're all they all live abroad. They are more open-minded. They have
Yeah.
seen things of the world. They've stepped out of their comfort zone. You have a language thing in common. You have a cultural barrier in common. So you have lots of similarities and things in common, and the timing of
Yeah.
life right. So that
Yeah. So
makes
it clicks
it
very quickly.
yeah, absolutely, and it's very easy to quickly find people that you connect with, and you always do. But the whole purpose of the meetup is just finding that few connections and that click that you have with someone, and then
Okay, and then
from there,
building.
you follow up. And you have so many flavors and interests and passions. So yeah, I really see that as a starting point. So if you have, for example, hiking in common, then that is a great place to meet. And then afterwards you go on a hike together. So I like eating. Most
You
of
can
the
do the
things that
second
we do.
restaurant.
Yeah. So very often then we go out for lunch and then, to give an example, I met Alex at one of our first lunches that we organized in Ez, and he came by himself. He was married already back then, and then it clicked immediately, even though we only shared a few words. And he said, "Yeah, no, just come over for a coffee. I live in Valbonne." And then we'll see. So we came over for a coffee. It was about 10:30 a.m. We left that day around 8 p.m. because we had dinner
No.
to attend, and we were just eating, drinking, and it really took off from that moment. And later on, he became my best man at our wedding, and now we both have kids. They're expecting. I cannot share it yet. Spoiler that something. So, anyways, they have two kids. We have two kids, and now we have kids' play dates, celebrate Christmas together. That's just one of the many examples that
Yeah.
we have.
So it's become the family and the real tribe that you have abroad at the end.
Yeah, yeah, and that is what, in my opinion, what absolutely makes you feel and truly makes you feel home. I mean, you
Completely.
can know all the best places in town, but if you don't have
Yeah, if
people,
you're alone, yeah,
I mean,
it's very different.
uh, you need people.
Yeah, great. Okay, well, it seems like you've made the tribe. You've built it definitely from scratch.